My greetings to everyone. In the ongoing series of Art of Being Happy, today we will be talking on the different aspects of measuring the happiness. So the link between the happiness and sustainable development goals has been discussed in the previous series. So let us have a small recap of that. The idea of sustain and well-being in what connects the happiness to the SDGs, there is a collection of 17 interconnected objectives that were adopted by United Nations to address the global issues like poverty, inequality, environmental degradation and the climate change. And they aim to advance the economic, social, environmental progress in fair and sustainable way. So happiness includes a larger sense of well-being, happiness and overall satisfaction rather than just the personal pleasure. So holistic approach to well-being, that is recognizing that well-being covers the social, economic and environmental elements, the SDGs take a very holistic approach to development and which is very consistent with the characteristics like health, education, social connections, environmental quality, in addition to the material riches, and they have a deep impact on the happiness. Like the SDG goal number 1 and 10, they both contribute to happiness by addressing the essential requirement and the opportunities that enable people to live a very good life and equal access to resources. Followed by goal number 3 and goal number 4, in which it relates to the physical and the mental well-being. The goals related to excellent health and well-being is goal number 3 and quality education is goal number 4. So the SDGs encourage the environmental sustainability with the goals including goal number 6, clean water and sanitation, followed by goal number 7 on affordable clean energy and 11 on sustainable cities and communities, and goal 13 on the climate action. So the human pleasure and the well-being are directly related to a very healthy environment. Now gender equality and empowerment is contained with goal number 5, which makes the society more happier by giving a gender equity and empowerment of the woman, which increases the social dynamics and the general well-being. Now focus of goal number 16 on the justice, peace and stable institutions, the trust, social cohesiveness and happiness are fostered by peaceful societies and effective governing mechanisms among the population. There are numerous SDGs which promote the social contact, community participation and inclusive growth. The responsible consumption and production is contained in goal number 12, which emphasizes the sustainable practices that strike a balance between the human needs and environmental concerns, thereby promoting the ethical well-being and overall, we can say, the enjoyment. So the global cooperation and solidarity, to address the shared difficulties, goal number 17 of SDGs place a strong emphasis on international collaborations and the partnerships. So this group effort, they encourage a sense of shared accountability and supports a feeling of the well-being and interconnectedness on a global scale. Next we have is a long-term perspective. Now, in order to protect the resources and guarantee a sustainable future for future generations, SDGs encourage a long-term perspective on the development. Now, there is a consistent with the notion that making investments in sustainable development now can actually increase the happiness and the well-being later on. The SDGs, which are closely related to the idea of happiness, offer a thorough framework for achieving the sustained well-being. The SDGs work on create a society in which people can live a very satisfying life and more enjoyment in harmony with one another and the planet by tackling the many aspects of the human development, social fairness, environmental protection and international cooperation. Now, let us start with an interesting concept called measuring the happiness in urban planning and design. Measuring the happiness in urban planning and design often involves assessing the factors like green spaces, walkability, social interaction, and access to amenities. The surveys The data analysis, community engagement are some methods used to gauge the impact of the design choices on the residents' well-being. The green spaces, they have a significant impact on happiness by providing the various physical, psychological, and the social benefits. They offer the opportunities for relaxation, physical activity, and connection with the nature, which can actually contribute to improved mental well-being and reduced stress. The green spaces, they also foster the social interactions and a sense of community, creating the spaces for people to gather, connect, and engage in recreational activities. Access to nature and greenery, they have been linked to enhanced mood, increased cognitive function. Now, there are several factors which can affect the green spaces. The availability of park, garden, open space where the residents can relax, exercise, and connect with the nature. Absolutely. There are various factors that can influence the happiness in urban planning and design, including the green spaces, walkability, public transportation, access to amenities, social interaction, safety, and overall aesthetics, that is happy, healthy, and thriving. Now coming on to the urban design. The urban design can improve the social interactions by creating the spaces that encourage people to interact and connect. The incorporating features like public squares, community centers, pedestrian-friendly streets, public squares, parks, they can actually provide good opportunities for the people to go for communication, gathering, talking, networking, and social interactions. Mixed use developments, they can actually combine the residential, commercial, and recreational spaces, which can actually foster the organic interactions by bridging the diverse groups of people together in some shared spaces. There are some examples of urban designs that contribute to the happiness. So they include number 1, pedestrian friendly spaces. Now designing the street and the neighborhoods with the walkways, with the bike lanes, with the pedestrian friendly infrastructure, it encourages the physical activity and the social interactions. Mixed use development, creating the areas where people can live, people can work and play within the close proximity, reduces the commute times and foster a sense of community. Public gathering places, designing the plaza, squares, and community centers that encourage the social interaction and public events, they can enhance a sense of belonging. The green spaces, incorporating the parks, gardens, and green areas into urban land space, it provides the residents with the opportunities for relaxation, recreation, and connection with the nature. So designing the metropolitan areas with the features like playground, school, daycare centers, they promote the family unity, lowers the stress levels, improves the well-being of both the parents and the children. This is known as supportive infrastructure for the families. Now the streets that are designed with the large sidewalks, pedestrian crossings, and lots of greenery, they promote walking and bicycling, which can enhance the physical well-being and fostering the social connections. Let us explore a very important topic, that is enhancing the happiness in the rural communities, challenges and opportunities. Enhancing the happiness in the rural communities, it involves addressing the challenges like limited access to resources, the healthcare and education, opportunities which include promoting the local economic development, community engagement, and improved infrastructure to create a more fulfilling living environment. Enhancing the happiness in the rural communities faces a lot of challenges like inadequate infrastructure, limited job opportunities, healthcare accessibilities, social isolation, and insufficient educational services. Enhancing the happiness in the rural communities, it presents the several opportunities that can actually lead to improved well-being and quality of life. So some of these opportunity includes community engagement. Rural communities, they often have strong social bonds. Leveraging this sense of community, it can lead to a collaborative effort that address the challenges, share resources, and create a supportive environment. The next is your nature and environment. The social and the rural areas, they have often have access to the natural beauty and the open spaces, which encourages the outdoor activities, the ecotourism, and sustainable land use, which can actually contribute to physical and the mental well-being. Next is your education and skill development. The rural communities can benefit from education and skill building programs that can equip the residents with the abilities needed for diverse job opportunities both locally and beyond. Next is your healthcare and accessibility. Improving the healthcare facilities and the services in the rural areas can lead to better physical health and improved access to medical treatments. The rural community can actually promote the economic opportunities by investing in the local industries like agriculture, agri-tourism, and the handicrafts. Developing the small business, supporting entrepreneurship, and creating cooperative ventures can stimulate the economic growth. Now, technology can also bridge the rural gaps in several ways. The first is your access to information. The mobile phones and the internet enables the rural residents to access information about markets, weather, health, and the government services, empowering them to make the informed decisions. Economic opportunities. The online marketplaces can connect the rural artisans and the entrepreneurs with the potential customers, expanding their market reach and income opportunities. Next we have is government services. Digital platforms can streamline the delivery of the government services like subsidies and the social welfare. The telemedicine allows the rural residents to consult the doctor remotely, receive the medical advice, and even access the diagnostic test, improving the healthcare access in the areas with the limited medical facilities. Next we have is the agriculture. The mobile apps can provide the farmers with the information about the crop management, the pest control, the market prices, and the weather forecast. In education, e-learning platforms can provide access to quality education in remote areas, offering the courses, tutorials, and the resources to students who might not have access to traditional schools. Let us talk about the cultural sensitivity in utilizing the happiness. Now, cultural sensitivity is very important aspect of happiness, and its sensitivity, that is the cultural sensitivity in utilizing the happiness, involves recognition and respecting the cultural differences in how people define, how people experience, and how people pursue the happiness. It's very important to understand that what brings happiness can actually vary greatly from one culture to another culture, practices that promote the happiness. Being sensitive to the cultural context, it helps to ensure that the efforts to ensure the happiness are inclusive and considerate of diverse values and the norms. Now, we are going to discuss an illustration of culturally sensitive information which helps in utilizing the happiness. Now, imagine a company aiming to boost the employee happiness through a wellness program. Instead of implementing a one-size-fits-all approach, they take a cultural sensitivity into account. So, in a diverse workplace that offers a range of wellness activities that respect the different cultural preferences, for instance, they might offer mindfulness, meditation sessions for those who find it helpful, but also provide the options like group exercises that align with other cultural preferences for the social engagement and the physical activity. Now, practicing the cultural sensitivity involves being aware of and respectful towards the different cultural norms, the values, and the perspectives. So, here are some important steps which we will discuss in this regard. The first is educate yourself. Learn about the various cultures, their history, their tradition, their perspective, their past practices, their pursuance in terms of happiness. The second is be having an open mindset. The approach interactions with an open mindset, recognizing that your perspective may not align with the others from the different cultures. Avoid stereotyping. Refrain from making the assumptions or the generalizations about the individuals based on their cultural background. The next is active listening. Pay close attention to what others are saying and ask the questions to better understand their viewpoint. The next is respect the personal spaces. Be mindful of the physical space, norms, body language. That's very important. If you have developed the habit of active listening, it is definitely going to give you a perspective of understanding the other's point of view. And you need to be very mindful of your personal spaces, norms, and the body language. That's also very important. Now, in some Western cultures, individualism and the personal achievement are often emphasized as the only pathways to happiness. Success, self-expression, and the autonomy, they are actually seen as the key factors in the personal well-being. In certain Eastern cultures, such as many Eastern Asian societies, collective harmony, family cohesion, and the societal roles, they might hold some significance in the pursuit of happiness. Now, balancing the individual desires, which needs to be the community, which can lead to a different approaches to achieve the happiness in these cultures. Now, these differences, they highlight a very pertinent part, that is, they highlight the importance of understanding and respecting the various cultural perspectives on the happiness. Now let us move on to addressing inequality and the social justice to boost the happiness. Yes, we are talking about equality. Addressing the inequality and promoting a social justice can contribute to boost the overall happiness by creating a fair and inclusive society where individuals have equal access and opportunities and to the resources. When people feel that they are treated fairly and have a sense of belonging, it positively impacts their well-being and satisfaction with their lives. Addressing inequality effectively involves a multifaceted approach. Next we have is the economic policies. Implement progressive taxation, the wealth redistribution, and the social safety nets to bridge the wealth gap and ensure the basic needs are met. Investing in the mental health services and lowering the stigma associated and the mental health problems, they are two ways to support the mental health. Having access to reasonably priced mental health care can enhance the general happiness and the well-being. Next we have is the employment. Promote the equal pay for equal work, diverse hiring practices, and workplace policies that support the work-life balance and the career advancement. Next we have is a health care. Ensure the accessible and affordable healthcare services to all, reducing the disparities in the health outcomes. Next is your legal reforms. Enforce the anti-discrimination laws, ensure the equal access to justice, and reform the criminal justice systems to prevent the biases. The social programs. Develop the programs that support the marginalized groups such as affordable housing, food assistance, and the childcare. Political representation. Encourage the diverse representation in government and the decision-making bodies to ensure a variety of perspectives are considered. Community engagement. Foster a dialogue and collaboration among the different communities to promote the understanding and the unity. Addressing the inequality can boost the happiness in several ways. The first is your increased life satisfaction. When people have access to equal opportunities, resources, and the basic needs, they are more likely to experience a higher life satisfaction and the well-being. Reduce stress. Inequality can create a stress and anxiety as individuals in marginalized or disadvantaged groups, which may face constant challenges and uncertainties. Addressing the inequality can elevate their stress and contribute to better mental health. Enhanced social mobility. Addressing the inequality can also provide individuals from disadvantaged backgrounds with opportunities to improve their lives and break the cycle of poverty. Fairness and justice is closely tied to happiness. When individuals see that efforts are being made to ensure equitable treatment, they are more likely to feel valued and content. Positive impact on future generations. Addressing inequality sets a positive example for future generations, teaching them about fairness, empathy, and importance of working together for a greater good. Let's see at the end the long-term implications of prioritizing happiness in society. Prioritizing pleasure in society can have a profound and long-lasting effect that go well beyond the short-term advantage of improved individual well-being. So, the first is your sustained growth and well-being. The well-being of present and future generations can be taken into account when making decisions and the policies that support the sustainable development. This strategy promotes weighing economic, social and environmental factors equally. Next is your beneficial economic outcomes. People that are happier tend to be more creative, motivated and productive. Making happiness a top priority can result in a more productive and engaged workforce which can support the economic growth and support. Strengthened social cohesion can also lead to stronger social ties and decrease the social isolation and increase the group and individual collaboration, which can result in happiness. Lower conflict and the crime rates. Society with higher levels of happiness typically have a lower crime and conflict levels. The greater well-being and the social networks of supporting the fostering and more peaceful and the neighborhoods. Resilience and coping mechanisms. Promoting of the happiness can help people gain coping mechanisms and emotional fortitude. Societies can better navigate problems, crises and transformation as a result of preparation. Elevated quality of life. In the end, we can say putting happiness first can improve the people's quality of life and communities as a whole by encouraging a sense of fulfillment, purpose and contentment. And it's very crucial to remember that putting happiness first calls for a complex strategy that incorporates the policy adjustments, social awareness and change in the cultural values. Thank you very much.